Hello, guys. Join me for this gentle but juicy morning flow to help you overcome stagnation. If you've just woken up and you're feeling a bit groggy and stiff and having trouble to get going, well, in this flow, we try to address that issue. We're starting in this prayer position and simply taking long, slow breaths, prioritizing the exhales. We want to start gently, and this whole flow really will be very gentle, so it's suitable whether you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or way beyond. We will aim to stretch, articulate, rehydrate the tissues, and help you feel better and ready for the day. So we are approaching a full minute in that prayer stretch. And now let's move on to spinal articulation. So you're on all fours, and we're trying to affect all those little joints in the vertebral column, facet joints. Let's rehydrate the disc, moving from flexion to extension. So, guys, you want the movement to resemble a wave because really the whole flow that we're going to do is about fluid dynamics, the fluid flow in the body, blood, the lymph, the fluids in the tissues in your cells, as well as cerebrospinal fluid and synovial fluid in the joints. We are 70% water. From the spinal waves, we're going into rotation. So drop one shoulder towards the ground and hold that twist while keeping your hips stacked over your knees. And then change sides and do the same. Rest your shoulder, rest your head, and enjoy that twist. And we continue. You're going to sit back on your heels. You can, of course, use a cushion or a block. And let's begin with the top part of the spine, the neck. So, guys, to your best ability, see if you can draw circles with your chin, taking your neck through all the movements that it's capable of making. Twisting, side bending, flexion, extension, okay? Depending on your neck condition, you may make the movement smaller and slower. Now, guys, we're tucking toes under, so we're stretching through the plantar fascia, if you can do that, and sitting back on the heels. So we're trying to, one more time, go through the wave-like motions of the spine. Flexion, and then starting with the base of the spine, going into controlled extension. And then sit up and move your shoulder blades. Let your shoulder blades glide up and then towards the spine and down and forwards, and continue with the nice slow rhythm. Changing direction. And then going to the swimmers, so supporting the rotator cuff muscles. So, guys, in the morning we may feel stiff. You maybe been slipping on your shoulder. Maybe you've been having your shoulders in a funny position. So here's a nice way to wake up all those tissues and making sure that we are keeping our fascial layers gliding nicely one on top of the other, as well as giving our joint the training to go through full range of motion so we can preserve that motion for the years to come. So here we're going for this infinity movement when one arm goes behind the head and the other hand goes behind your back. And then transition to the pelvic circles. So hands, arms stretched out in front of you, and you moving your pelvis towards the heels, towards the sides, towards the front. Very simple, very pleasant movement. And then change direction for a few more repetitions. Then we will continue working with the hips and deeper hip muscles. And now we're stepping right foot through between the hands. So step forwards and go with that knee as far forwards as you possibly can. We're going to do a simple transition from knee over toes lunge, stretching the psoas on the left side, as well as bringing lubrication and blood flow to that right leg. So we're slowly sinking, aiming for the deep stretch, and then pushing through the right foot down and forwards so we can move our body back. And that will also warm up your quadriceps and glutes. And then adding calf raises, so called, going from a nice calf stretch to a calf contraction. Remember, the calf muscles work as a pump. So if you, throughout the day, contracting that muscle, it will aid the blood flow return to the heart, supporting your heart in circulating the blood and fluid throughout the body. You may even send your arms overhead and go for the nice abdominal stretch on top of it. And then change legs and step your left foot through to repeat the process. You can, of course, adjust the depth of that lunge and just go however far your ankles and knees are happy to go. Let's continue to the next set of stretches and movements. And this time we're heading to side kneeling. So guys, now we're working in another plane. And we're going to add that circumduction of the shoulder. Don't worry too much about where the hand goes. Just go for the biggest circle you can create in the shoulder. At this point, you're thinking stretching and moving the fascia, making the fascial line glide one on top of the other so we can rehydrate them and prevent adhesions and sticking of those layers together. Now moving on to the hips. So here we are in this narrow 90-90 position. We're trying to open the right hip and front of the body. Hip flexors primarily may feel quite stiff and congested after the night. So we're trying to open the front of the body. Change sides and try to copy my position You supporting yourself with that hand that is on the ground while the other arm sweeps overhead so we can stretch through the side of the body, in front of the body even more. I'm exhaling to come up, inhaling at the top, exhaling slowly to sit back down. And we're moving on to our next position. This is going to be a seated twist. We're grounding the sit bones, lengthening through the spine, and adding rotation. I like to twist my neck in opposite directions. So I'm looking over my left shoulder and then over my right shoulder. So then I'm also affecting the fascia, trying to add a little bit more variety into this position. Change sides and sit tall. Gently rotate. You can look over your shoulder or look back and then return to that side-to-side movement of the head. Okay, and now it's time to lie down, guys. So we're working with the posterior chain, hamstrings, and calves. So simply pull one knee towards your chest, interlace the fingers around your thigh bone, and add this knee extension and foot flexion. So straighten the leg and pull the toes towards you. Add ankle circles, 5 each way. So in this way, we're also affecting the return of blood towards the heart. And then grab a strap. Could be yoga strap, could be a leather belt, could be a resistance band. You're wrapping the strap around the ball of the foot, inverting the foot so that the pinky side of the foot goes towards the ceiling, and then you're pulling the leg across the body. Your pelvis is still grounded because it's not about the lower back. Here you may feel the stretch through the outside of your ankle, outside of your calf, outside of your thigh, and even all the way to the side of the hip or back of the hip. And don't force this. This is not supposed to be super intense stretch. So work with whatever your body is able to handle. And then send the leg over to the other side, away from the body. And that's for our pelvic floor, hamstrings, inner thighs. Okay, return, and we starting from the top with that leg straightening and foot movement. And you can, of course, slow down. Few repetitions for that movement, and then you move on to your ankle rotations, slow and controlled, 5 each way. And then reach for the strap. And we're going to go through exactly same stretches. You invert your foot, you take the leg across, you gently pulling the toes towards you, keeping your lower back still on the ground. And now I'm going to let you enjoy the stretch in silence. Now send the leg over to the other side, towards your left. Trying to keep your right hip and your right thigh firmly on the ground. Okay, let's go back to movement. So now back to easy bridges. Ground your feet and articulate through the spine, gently starting by squeezing the glutes and peeling tailbone and lower back off the floor. Then send your feet a little bit wider and let the thighs fall over to the right side and then over to the left. So you can see how my right knee goes to my left heel. I'm going as far as I can go. And that stretch almost is being felt the front of the hip, but also through the lower back. Every time your knees approach the ground, exhale, hold. Let's make the twist a little bit more intense. So pelvis goes to the right, right thigh over your left thigh, and let your legs fall open to the left as far as your legs can go. And return back to the midline. Slide your pelvis over to the left, left thigh over your right thigh, and on the exhale, let your legs fall over to the right. Now back to midline, go back to center of the mat, and send your legs up to the tabletop. You want to gently press the mid back towards the floor, ground the sacrum, and move your thigh bones in opposite directions. You will be drawing 2 semicircles with your thigh bones and knees, while keeping the midsection gently engaged, creating corset around the lower back. And you finish off by stretching your legs on the ground, letting your feet fall open and gently shaking your femurs, your thigh bones in and out, creating a bit of rotation. You'll see how this will create a nice sensation through the lower back. You'll notice how this rhythmic shaking will also bring a lot of relief to your nervous system. It's very soothing. Okay, in the final transition, let's lie down on the front, guys. So here we're going to splay the fingers and place the fingertips on the ground, creating like a dome with each hand. And then we're creating that wave-like motion one more time, but this time going into spinal extension. So pull your shoulder blades down so we're not tensing through the upper back too much, and ground through your pubic bone. Every time you go up, you can also add a gentle rotation, look over your shoulder, and then return back down to the floor on the exhale. You can go as high as you feel comfortable. And then moving on to a chest stretch. So your left hand goes out to the side, maybe with the wrist at the ear or nose level, and you're rolling onto your left side. So here we're creating a stretch through the pectoral fascia, pec major, even pec minor. And with the free arm, you can add gentle circles. So we're holding this for 20 or 30 seconds, however long you feel you need this. And then we return back on the belly, and we're doing the same thing on the right side. So I like to have my hand a little bit higher than the shoulder level, find that line of tension through the chest, and then add that turn to your left. Find a comfortable setup. Now guys, into a little bit more of energizing. We're going into back extensions. So this time, ground your pubic bone. Keep your tailbone long so we can prevent excessive extension of the lumbar spine. Your glutes will be engaging while you lift your chest and head ever so slightly, while your fingertips are reaching towards the heels. I like to turn my palms towards the ground, so I'm also creating or encouraging external rotation of the shoulders while gently pulling shoulder blades back towards one another and lengthening through my neck. I tend to push my feet into the ground and simply trying to get longer. Okay, we finish off with gentle rocking of the pelvis side to side, and then also adding a sweep through the feet and knees. So you're adding a bit of knee flexion extension, a bit of hip rotation, as well as a bit of movement through the lumbar spine. We finish today's flow in a child's pose. So guys, knees at the shoulder distance or wider. Sit back, rest your head, and finish off with another set of long breaths. And notice how your body feels now compared to how it felt when you started. You woke up your joints, you rehydrated your fascia, you moved your lymph, cleared some stagnation, and you did the real work even though it felt like rest.